I am Patsy Baker Blackshear, and I'm a member here at Asbury, and I'm also on the board of the Kunta Kinte-Alex Foundation. And we are here as a part of the Asbury Legacy Project to capture information about Asbury from people who have been here for a number of years. And you have been identified as a person who has a lot of years and experience as being a member here at Asbury. So we want to find out everything you can tell us about Asbury. So for the record, can you give us your name, your age, your address?
My name is Bessie. My name is Bessie Mary Knight. I remember Asbury for I don't know how long. It's been a number of years. I used to be at Asbury, then I left and kind of slacked off. Then I decided I should come back to Asbury, come back to church.
Very good, very good. And we're welcome to have you back because it makes a difference when people know the history of the church and they're with us. So, how old are you, Miss Knight?
I'm 92.
92.
I just had a birthday.
92. When was your birthday?
My birthday is September the 11th,
Okay, so you just had a
1923.
you just had a birthday.
Yes.
Okay. Now you said you've been here a number of years. Did you attend Asbury when you were a child?
As a child.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, you
yeah.
did?
We used to
Okay.
go to Sunday school.
Okay.
And
So your earliest memory of Asbury is attending Sunday school?
I remember attending Sunday school.
How old do you think you were when you can first remember being here?
I can remember, I guess I was about 11
Okay.
years old.
All right. Then you walked to the church?
Because I lived right in Annapolis.
Where in Annapolis?
In Annapolis on Clay Street.
Okay. So you walked across the street
Walked
over here.
across the street, yes.
Actually passed by First Baptist to get over here.
Yes. Well, I used to go to First Baptist with my grandmother.
Okay.
She's a member.
Okay.
Was a member.
A First
there.
Baptist. Well, how did you end up at Asbury? Somebody was a member of Asbury in your family?
Yeah, well, the friends were going, they lived on Clay Street, were going to Asbury.
Okay.
I wanted to go to Asbury,
Okay.
too.
Okay.
And then my mother, she was a member of Second Baptist Church.
Okay.
It was on around the corner in
Yes.
the back of this church.
Yes.
Reverend Morgan
Okay.
was pastor there.
Okay.
That was a many year ago.
Okay. So when you were a child coming here, what are some of the things that you did? You went to Sunday school, you said. What are some of the other activities that had you involved at Asbury, that you were involved in?
Well, I used to go to the Efforts League.
Mm-hmm.
They had an Efforts League in the evening service.
What's an efforts league?
Efforts League is a service.
Okay.
You have an evening service.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So you'd go to Sunday school, then you go to the regular service?
Reverend Barry was here.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And he would lead the regular service, and then you'd go to Effort League.
We'd go to Efforts League.
Okay.
And I guess I got tired of it. I started running around the place with the other children. They
Mhm.
were going, and I would follow.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And so you left for a while?
I just left. I didn't come, like I should.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sent to church, and I went someplace else.
Devil was sitting on your shoulder?
Yes,
Uh-huh, I
he was
understand.
he was definitely on my shoulder, and so I got tired of that, running around. So I started following the other children this way,
Uh-huh.
coming to church.
Okay, very good. That just shows you how strong the peer influence is. They pull you away, some of them came back, and they pull you back.
Yeah.
So how old do you think you were when you came back? Teenager?
Yes,
Okay,
I was a teenager.
all right. And so you spent your youth here, and you were here as a young adult?
Yes.
Okay. And during that time, who are some of the persons here at Asbury whose names you can remember that really made a significant spiritual difference in your life?
Miss Annie S. Henry,
Okay.
Josephine Young,
Okay.
Miss Lucia Henderson,
Okay.
Miss Emma Stepney.
Okay.
She was a music, in charge of music.
Okay.
And I can remember, I think Professor Moore was here.
Okay.
Then so many of them I've forgotten
Okay.
their names. That
What did they do? They teach Sunday school. They handled the choir. What kinds of things were you involved in that made you remember them?
well, Miss Henry, she was a school teacher,
Okay.
and she played music.
Okay.
Miss Young, she did everything.
Okay.
She's involved in everything
Okay.
in the church.
Okay.
And Miss Emma Hall Stepney, she was the music teacher. Miss Lucia Henderson, she used to live close to me.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And so you had some persons who were active in the church, but they were also working in the school system, so they taught you in the school system also?
Yes, Miss Henry did.
Okay, all right. So did you act right since you saw them both places as a child?
Say, did I act right?
Did you act right?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes. But I got so that somewhere in there, I had a daughter.
Okay, okay.
I had my oldest daughter, who she
Okay.
has passed now.
Okay, okay,
And I would bring her to church,
okay.
leave her. I'd bring her to Sunday school, and I
Mhm.
would leave her at the door for the morning service.
Mm-hmm.
So one morning, Reverend Snowden, he said, "You know, Miss Bessie, see, I like the way you bring your daughter to church and leave her at church, but it'd be
Mhm.
nice if you would come with her sometime.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you stay with her sometime."
Mm-hmm.
So it must have got to me, and I started to be in that service also.
So you came back.
I came back.
That's good.
Thank you, Lord.
That's good. So
Thank you.
when you came back, what were some of the things that you were involved in the church? It's warm in here a little bit to me. So what were some of the things you were involved in the church?
Well, not really. Bible study. We have a Bible study. Reverend
Okay.
Callahan
Okay.
and Reverend Snowden, they had a Bible study.
Okay.
And downstairs.
Okay.
And then I joined on the choir.
Okay.
With
All right.
Miss, how can I forget Miss Parker's name? Miss
Okay.
Alma Parker.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Was she related to Miss Laura Parker?
Miss Laura.
Laura Parker? Uh-huh.
Laura Eleanor. Her
Okay.
name, that's her
okay.
name.
Oh, okay.
Laura Eleanor.
Never heard that before. I've heard Laura, but her name, you call her Miss Elma Parker.
Miss Eleanor Parker.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's informative. So you were involved in the choir, and you came to Bible class.
Came to Bible class.
Okay. Any other things you were involved
Yeah.
in?
But then I wanted to join up with I think I was persuaded by Bernice. Bernice was my best friend.
Who, Bernice?
Bernice also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We were close and lived on the same street.
Okay.
And she would be going to church or going to a meeting or something.
Mhm.
And I figured that I want to get involved in something also,
Okay.
instead of just a stay at home.
Okay. So you got involved in some
Got
other
involved in the United Methodist Women.
things? Okay.
I joined there.
Are you still active
And,
with that?
Not for some months now,
Mhm.
but I guess some months.
Mhm.
I've been last year I was in almost a year now
Okay,
that I
okay.
haven't been going to the meetings because I wasn't feeling it well.
Okay. All right. And so you had a lot of different things you were involved in. Who were the ministers that you remember?
I remember Reverend I.R. Barry.
Okay.
For years he was, a minister.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a choir that's named after him now.
Yes.
Okay. So that was the thing that a lot of people remember about him. You remember anything else about him?
Yes. I know that he was here. He used to be in the streets. He'd walk, the streets,
To bring people in?
yes.
Grab you?
Yeah. No, not grab. But I would see him along the streets,
Okay,
and
okay.
I want to be part of it too. So.
Very good.
Mhm.
Very good. Any other ministers? You mentioned some other names.
Yes. Well, Reverend Snowden, Reverend Berry,
Mm-hmm.
Reverend Callahan.
Okay, what do you remember about Reverend Snowden or Reverend Callahan?
Yes.
What do you remember about them?
Reverend Callahan, I used to like to hear him, speak,
Okay.
preach.
Okay. Okay.
And Reverend Hardesty,
Okay.
Reverend, how can I forget Reverend Hardesty's name? Reverend Hardesty and, let's see,
Reverend Hutchins.
Reverend Hutchins, yes.
Uh-huh.
Reverend Hutchins.
Uh-huh.
And also some Reverend, I'm kind of blank.
Was it the priest Y? You remember him?
Reverend Y. I was
Yeah.
baptized on the Reverend Y.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
What do you remember about Reverend Hutchins?
Reverend Hutchins, he was a very nice minister.
Mhm.
I liked him.
Mhm.
And he had a church. He went to Washington.
Mhm.
I remember when he left here.
I heard, understand a lot of people were sad when he
Yeah.
left. Mhm.
Very sad.
Mhm. How large was the membership in those days of some of your memories?
Leadership?
The membership. How large was the congregation?
Oh, I don't know, but it was quite large.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that the membership at one point was 800 people.
Yes.
Mhm.
We had people, and they used to bring choirs in. We had choir day, and that's what I loved about it, too.
Mhm. You all used to have a very popular men's choir, I understand.
I didn't understand.
You used to have a very popular men's choir.
Men's choir, yes. We had the men's mission choir.
Mhm. Mhm. You remember any members of that choir?
Yes.
Who were some of the names?
Roland Colbert was the leader of it.
Okay.
And I can't remember their names. I know all of them. Furnace was with them.
Furnace Williams.
Yes.
And he's still with the choir.
He's still with it.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
And still sings well. Still sings well.
And I can't remember these. Their men's. Oh boy.
Your men's choir used to be very popular.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that was probably the most popular choir you had, wasn't it?
It was. Yes.
Mhm. You were noted for that.
And we went to trips. We even went to Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
with the men's mission choir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's what they call it, the men's mission choir.
Men's mission choir.
Okay. So you mentioned some names of people you remember, but let me ask you another question about some of those people. Who would you say had the greatest influence on your religious growth here at this church? Who had the greatest influence on your religious growth?
His name is Henry.
Oh, really?
I think.
Why do you say that?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I don't know. She was involved in so many things.
Mhm,
She and her mother, Miss Carrie Simpson.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But they influenced you.
Huh?
Miss Henry influenced you.
Miss Henry did, yes.
Uh-huh. You mentioned Reverend Berry would go out into the community
Yes,
to
he
get
would be.
people to come in.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
He'd be walking. You could see him even down Main Street. He'd just, be walking.
Uh-huh.
And Reverend Snowden, my
Uh-huh.
gosh,
Mm-hmm.
Reverend Snowden.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be all over doing, so many things. Reverend
Mhm.
Snowden would,
Mhm.
too.
And so did they help you with your spiritual growth, you think, and
I think
made
he
a-
did,
Mhm.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Help bring you back in? Mm-hmm. Do you remember when Asbury made the transition from the old sanctuary to the new sanctuary?
Yes.
You do? Tell me
Yes.
about it. Tell me
Uh-huh.
about it.
When they built,
Mhm. Mhm.
when they built, Reverend Hutchins was there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Very.
He was the minister that was leading the flock at that time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big to-do.
It was.
Tell me some of the things you can remember.
And I remember that he came with his family. The
Mhm.
family grew when
Mhm.
while he was in, and we had a little son. We had a
Mhm.
son,
Mhm.
and we I forget what his name.
And I remember his wife was a teacher.
Yes,
Somebody
she was.
told me that. You remember that?
Yeah.
Did she teach here in the county or elsewhere?
No, she didn't teach here.
She taught somewhere
So,
else.
yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
You remember the fact that you had a upper sanctuary in the old church, and then when you built the new church, you did what? Had an upper sanctuary.
Yes,
Yes.
they built it. We had the balconies.
Yeah. Yeah.
On both sides,
Mhm,
and the
mhm.
quarters in the back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You remember the stained glass windows in the old church?
I didn't say it.
You remember the stained glass windows
Oh, yes.
in the old
Yes,
church?
the
Very,
same.
very pretty.
Mhm, they
Very
were.
pretty. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And I also remember Miss Rosa Tyler.
Mhm.
Rosa Tyler was very good in the church. She was
Yeah.
always doing. She and Josephine, they would run at each other
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
but they were very good.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And they would support each other.
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm. Now, Asbury is known as the mother church.
Yes. Of Cecil.
No, it's known as the mother church of a lot of churches. That churches, I mean, we started first. I mean, this church was founded in 1803, and then other churches came afterwards.
Yes.
But it's known in the community as the mother's church.
Mother Church.
Yeah. Why do you think it's called that? Do you know? What's your thinking on that?
Nah. I think Asbury, I don't know. Asbury has always been the first church,
Mhm.
seems to me.
Mhm.
Even First Baptist, even First Baptist. I used to go to First Baptist.
Mhm.
In fact, I never was a member there, but I
Mhm.
would go there because it was
Mhm.
close
Mhm.
and didn't have to cross the street,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
But you pass by First Baptist to come all the way to Asbury.
Yes, I did.
That's quite a statement. That's quite a statement. One person said they think it was a mother's church because when folks would have funerals, because of our size, they would have the funerals here. And different programs, they would have them here.
Yes.
Are you aware
Yes.
of those kinds of things?
Yes.
Yeah.
They would have, they said funerals.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They were, seemed like all the funerals were here,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't have them on Saturday. Didn't have a
Mhm.
funeral on Saturday. I can
Mhm.
remember that. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there used to be a crowd. Whenever they had anything large, it would be at Asbury.
Mm-hmm. That's what I heard, because we were so much larger.
Yeah.
So this was like a community center? Asbury was like a community center?
I don't know about a community center. I know everybody would be here.
Mhm.
Everything would happen here
Okay.
at Asbury.
Okay, all right, very good. Now, there was another big change that took place in the church. The church used to be African Methodist,
Yes.
then it became United Methodist.
United Methodist.
You remember that change?
Yes.
What was the difference?
I don't know. I was wondering, but it sounds good. It sounds good. Asbury United Methodist Church.
Yeah,
Don't leave that out.
yeah, but do you remember when it was African Methodist?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden there was a change?
Yes.
Was there a lot of grumbling? Did people
Yes.
want to see it occur, or what were you
Didn't
hearing?
want to change.
They didn't
a
want
lot
to
of
change?
people. A lot of people didn't want a change.
Why do you think so?
I don't know.
Used to it being one way, you think?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you get used to something you don't want to change.
Mhm.
A lot of time.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Now, let's fast forward, and it's 100 years from now. I'm going to be gone. You might be gone.
I'm 92, remember.
So you'd be around a long time if you were still here 100 years from now. But people are looking at this video, what would you want them to know about Asbury?
I wanted to let them know that it was a great church.
Okay.
It's a great church, and that everybody would flock there when things, happening.
Mhm.
They had lovely pastors,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. First female pastor here. Yeah, yeah. So you would want them to know that. Anything else you would want them to know about Asbury?
It was on West Street, and it's been here the age.
Mm-hmm.
It has been here, I don't know how many years, 100,
Oh, 200. Since
200.
1803.
yeah,
Since
18.
1803. Long time. Long time. Now, this is well, before I ask you this sentence, anything else you want to just share about your experiences here at Asbury? Things that you can think of? People?
My family didn't belong here because my mother, she passed, but she still belonged to, they moved, the church moved out in parole.
Okay. Okay. All right.
My grandmother belonged to Bessie. She was a Baptist. She was always a Baptist.
Okay.
She moved to Baltimore.
Okay.
And she used to have us up there sometime,
Mm-hmm.
Summer for holidays and
Mm-hmm.
stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or come here. And,
What about your brothers and sisters?
well, my sister didn't. She would come.
Mm-hmm.
My sister would come.
Mm-hmm.
And I had two families because
Mhm.
my father moved to Philadelphia,
Okay.
which we are still close because my
Mhm.
father has passed.
Mm-hmm.
He passed at 95.
Okay. All right. All right. So are you the only one in your family who stayed with Asbury?
Yes.
Yeah. That's quite a statement.
Mhm.
So the rest kind of wandered away and went other
Yes.
places, but you stayed right here.
My daughter, she carried her family. She married and she stayed in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm,
Would
mm-hmm.
visit,
Mhm.
and visit here.
Mm-hmm. But you crossed that
But
street
I
and came here.
always crossed the street.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because even when I was living in town, I just been at Bayforest about in May.
Okay.
I moved in May.
Okay.
And I would thank the Lord to let me get across the street, and I had a lot of help too.
Uh-huh.
People would bring me and say, "I got you,"
Okay.
and they get me across the street.
They bring you back to Asbury.
Yes,
Very good.
yes.
You've been going here a long time.
I have.
Yeah, you've been going here a long time.
So
Very
many
good.
things I've forgotten, though.
Yeah. But so many things you remember too.
Yes.
So many things you remember too. Finish this sentence for me. One thing for sure I know about Asbury is what? One thing for sure that you know about Asbury is what?
I know it's a warm family.
Okay.
Mhm. I like the pastor, the leadership,
Mm-hmm.
and all. And I feel like a family here.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
These are. So is that it?
That's your home. This
It's
is your
my
home.
home.
This is your home.
It will always be my home.
Wonderful.
As
Wonderful.
long as the Lord says so, I will come.
Wonderful. I want to thank you so much, Miss Bessie, for taking the time to share your memories about Asbury. It will make such a wonderful opportunity for people to hear what you have to say and help them understand what Asbury has been about. Thank you so much.
The only thing our children have left
Mm.
Asbury.
So that's a big piece that we have to work on.
Yes.
Yeah, getting the children back here. Can you remember how large the Sunday school classes were with children?
Not the classes, but they had so many children.
Mm-hmm.
We had a group. I have pictures. I like to take pictures.
So you have some?
Yes.
Hopefully you brought some for scanning,
I didn't bring them today.
but you
I
will.
never thought of I didn't know I was coming for one thing. I didn't know what was.
But you share them with the history committee, and they will make copies of them and put them in our files.
Yes.
Okay.
And when we used to have Children's Day, and we had a march coming down West Street.
Oh, really?
Yes, we went around a circle, that the whole church, the congregation went around, and then we walked down West Street.
That's wonderful. I never heard of that. You'd go to the circle,
Yes,
okay, and come back.
and come back.
Okay, I never heard of that. Was it on Easter, or was it a particular day, or what?
I don't know. It was an opening for something. Something was going on.
Mhm.
Something large was going on.
Was it every year we would do
No,
that?
not every year.
Mm-hmm. Was it, you think it was when they opened the new church?
It must have been.
Okay,
Probably was.
that's interesting. So just one time. That's impressive.
But we did walk down West Street, I remember, because I was with them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's interesting. So if you have pictures of that, please bring them and share them with the History Committee,
All right.
because they need
I
to.
don't know if I have that, but I have them when we were standing outside when we take pictures of groups, choir groups. And
Okay.
all.
Okay, all right, very good. Well,
I
again,
still have a lot of, excuse me,
mm-hmm.
still have a lot of pictures.
Okay. Well, anything that you think will help tell the story about Asbury and its history, we want you to share it with the History Committee.
All right.
Okay, we appreciate
All
that.
right.
And we'll give it back to you. We just want to make copies so we can share them with other people.
Well, they say that I don't need them because I do make copies of pictures. I take them from my camera
Mhm.
and put them on the computer,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have a printer,
Okay.
and I do that.
Okay, well, we want you to share them with the History
All right.
Committee.
All right.
Any last things you want to share?
Pardon?
Any last memories you want to share?
No, I'm trying to think. No.
Okay, well, again, if you think of things, you can share them with the History Committee, and I thank you so much for taking the time to share your memories about Asbury.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss Blackshear.
Okay.
Very good.